10 California cities are sitting on a growing pile of unsold new homes right now. Builders who spent the last several years racing to meet what looked like unstoppable demand are now offering incentives that would have seemed impossible at the peak: rate buydowns, $50,000 price cuts, free solar, tens of thousands in closing credits, and in some communities, entire finished streets sit vacant while builder flags flutter in front of empty driveways. Before we go through the cities, I need to be completely clear about something important. Nothing in this video is financial, real estate, or investment advice. I am not a licensed financial advisor, real estate agent, or new construction specialist. What I am providing is analysis and commentary on publicly available housing market data, builder activity, and economic conditions. New construction markets change rapidly and conditions within specific developments can vary substantially from community averages. You are solely responsible for your own real estate and financial decisions. Number 10, Mountain House. Mountain House is a master-planned community of roughly 26,000 people in San Joaquin County, positioned between Tracy and Livermore along Interstate 580. It may be the clearest single example of what happens when an entire community is built around economic assumptions that subsequently changed. Mountain House was designed to absorb Bay Area overflow growth for decades. The formula was compelling. Large new homes, wide streets, new schools, parks, trails, modern infrastructure, and prices dramatically below what buyers faced in Alameda or Santa Clara County. For years it worked. Builders opened new phases steadily and buyers arrived consistently. Then the pandemic changed everything simultaneously. Remote workers flooded into Mountain House because they no longer needed to commute daily. Prices surged faster than the area had ever experienced. Builders accelerated construction aggressively to meet what appeared to be sustained demand. Then Bay Area employers started calling people back. And the commute that Mountain House always had, the one that existed before any of this, reasserted itself. Driving from Mountain House into Silicon Valley multiple days per week can mean 2 to 3 hours of daily driving depending on traffic through the Altamont Pass corridor. Buyers who justified the location because they only needed to go and occasionally started reconsidering when the math shifted to 3 or 4 office days per week. Builders are now carrying completed inventory across multiple subdivisions. Incentives have become substantial across newer phases: rate buydowns, closing cost assistance, appliance packages, solar incentives, and price reductions of $20,000 to $50,000 have become common. The community itself has genuine amenities. The challenge is the commute, and that commute does not change regardless of what incentives are on the table. Number 9, Eastvale. Eastvale in Riverside County has a population of around 76,000 people, sitting in the western Inland Empire near the San Bernardino County border. Eastvale represents what happens when Southern California commuter growth runs into affordability limitations from multiple directions at once. Almost everything in Eastvale is relatively new. The city expanded through the 2000s as former agricultural land became master-planned subdivisions with new schools, shopping centers, parks, and large single-family homes. Builders targeted Los Angeles and Orange County buyers who had been priced out closer to the coast. During the pandemic, Eastvale became even more active. Remote workers entered the market alongside traditional commuters, builders opened more phases, prices climbed as buyers competed for inventory. Then commute economics returned. Eastvale buyers were typically counting on access to Orange County, downtown Los Angeles, or Inland Empire job centers. Traffic across Interstate 15, Route 60, and the surrounding freeway corridors became increasingly difficult as return-to-office requirements increased across major employers. The second pressure came from carrying costs. Insurance premiums across Riverside County climbed sharply. Property taxes combined with Melrose assessments on newer developments add thousands of dollars annually to ownership costs beyond the base mortgage payment. Builders responded by expanding incentives significantly: free solar packages, closing cost credits, major upgrade packages, rate buydowns into the low fives, price reductions. Many finished homes are still waiting for buyers. Number 8, Lake Elsinore. Lake Elsinore in Riverside County has a population of approximately 74,000, sitting southeast of Riverside along Interstate 15. This is where California's insurance crisis has collided directly with new construction expansion in ways that are reshaping the market. For years, builders expanded across the hillside surrounding the lake. Communities including Canyon Hills, Summerley, Rosetta Canyon, and Tuscany Hills attracted buyers seeking newer homes at prices below Orange County or coastal Los Angeles. The pitch was straightforward: new construction, scenic views, community amenities, larger homes, and relatively affordable pricing. During the pandemic, demand accelerated substantially, builders expanded construction, and prices surged. Then wildfire insurance challenges intensified across California with particular force in communities like Lake Elsinore. The area sits in an increasingly high-risk wildfire zone, and insurance carriers raised premiums substantially or exited portions of the market entirely. Some homeowners were pushed toward the California Fair Plan, which typically costs more while offering less comprehensive coverage than standard policies. Buyers running their monthly payment calculations discovered the true ownership cost was substantially higher than the listing price suggested once insurance, HOA fees, and property taxes were fully incorporated. Builders are managing slower sales velocity across multiple developments. Incentives expanded: closing credits, free upgrades, solar packages, rate buydowns, price cuts on completed inventory. Despite those incentives, many newly finished homes continue waiting for buyers while the insurance situation remains unresolved. Number 7, Lathrop. Lathrop in San Joaquin County has a population of around 33,000, sitting along Interstate 5 roughly 60 miles east of the Bay Area. The centerpiece of Lathrop's growth story is River Islands, a massive masterplan development built around lakes, parks, schools, trails, and waterfront-style living specifically designed to attract Bay Area families escaping Silicon Valley housing costs. During the pandemic, River Islands became one of Northern California's most active housing stories. Buyers arrived from Alameda County, Santa Clara County, and San Mateo County in significant numbers. Prices climbed rapidly. The pitch seemed genuinely compelling: purchase a large new home in a clean, well-designed planned community for dramatically less than a comparable Bay Area property, work remotely, and enjoy space you could never afford closer to the tech campuses. Thousands of buyers made exactly that calculation. Then remote work policies tightened across major Bay Area employers. Thousands of those buyers faced the reality of commuting towards Silicon Valley multiple days per week. The Lathrop to San Jose drive under peak traffic conditions is genuinely difficult for anyone facing it several times weekly on an ongoing basis. Builders across River Islands and surrounding developments are now sitting on growing completed inventory. Incentives became widespread: rate buydowns, upgrade packages, closing credits, and meaningful price reductions. Some builders reduced original asking prices by tens of thousands of dollars on specific completed homes. The finished product is real and the community has genuine quality. The challenge is that the buyer who could afford to ignore the commute is smaller in number than the inventory that was built expecting them. Number 6, Menifee. Menifee in Riverside County has a population of roughly 115,000, located approximately 90 minutes east of Los Angeles under normal traffic conditions. Over the last decade, national builders transformed substantial portions of Menifee with communities including Audie Murphy Ranch, Heritage Lake, and numerous large subdivisions built around modern single-family homes and family-oriented amenities. The appeal was clear and consistent. Buyers priced out of coastal Southern California could purchase newer homes with significantly more square footage, newer infrastructure, and better community amenities at lower prices. During the pandemic demand surge, the market accelerated substantially. Investors entered alongside remote workers and traditional commuters. Builders ramped up construction expecting continued growth. The momentum felt durable at the time. Now completed homes across several Menifee developments are sitting unsold longer than builders anticipated. Incentive packages expanded broadly, rate buydowns, landscaping packages, appliance upgrades, closing credits, and substantial price reductions are now standard across multiple builders operating in the market. Meanwhile, ownership costs continued rising independently of what builders were doing on purchase price. Insurance premiums throughout Riverside County climbed sharply. Property taxes on newer construction approach several $1,000s annually. HOA fees and Melrose assessments add additional monthly pressure. Buyers who initially qualify based on the listing price frequently discover that the total monthly cost is substantially higher than expected once everything is calculated. Foot traffic through builder model home centers slowed noticeably compared to the pace of peak activity. Number 5, Manteca. Manteca in San Joaquin County has a population of around 92,000, sitting along Highway 99 roughly 75 miles east of the Bay Area. Manteca became one of California's largest pandemic-era commuter bets right before the economics behind that bet changed substantially. For more than a decade, builders expanded aggressively in Manteca because it offered something increasingly rare in Northern California. Brand new homes with space at prices dramatically lower than anything available closer to the Bay Area. Entire master-planned communities spread across the city's outskirts. Builders pushed new subdivisions in nearly every direction. The pitch targeted Bay Area workers directly, commute farther, spend significantly less, own more house. Remote work supercharged the market from 2020 through 2022. Buyers arrived from Alameda, Contra Costa, and Santa Clara counties. Prices surged. Large new homes that once seemed affordable moved into the $600,000 range and beyond. Then interest rates climbed and the commute became real again. The drive from Manteca toward Silicon Valley during peak traffic is exhausting for anyone facing it multiple times per week as a regular obligation. Buyers who accepted the location expecting consistent partial remote work found themselves facing 3 or 4 office days weekly in traffic that did not improve. Monthly payments escalated from multiple directions: higher mortgage rates, property taxes, and rising insurance premiums across San Joaquin County all moved in the same direction simultaneously. Builders carry completed inventory moving far slower than projected. Incentive packages became increasingly aggressive across the market. Rate buydowns into the low 5s, free design upgrades, appliance packages, closing credits ranging from $10,000 to $20,000, and direct price cuts of tens of thousands on some completed homes. Number 4, Fontana. Fontana in San Bernardino County has a population of roughly 225,000, located approximately 50 miles east of downtown Los Angeles. Fontana became one of Southern California's largest new construction corridors during the housing boom because it represented one of the last places where middle-class buyers could afford newer homes within driving distance of Los Angeles job centers. National builders expanded aggressively throughout Fontana. Large master-planned communities spread across northern sections and suburban corridors. Buyers from Los Angeles County, Orange County, and the broader Inland Empire entered the market searching for larger homes at prices that no longer existed closer to the coast. During the pandemic, demand intensified dramatically. Remote workers, investors, and speculators all participated in a market that showed every sign of continued momentum. Prices climbed rapidly. But Fontana's market depended heavily on commuter economics continuing to function in ways that remote work had temporarily altered. When gas prices remained elevated, insurance premiums in San Bernardino County increased, mortgage rates climbed, and return-to-office policies pushed buyers back into Southern California's freeway traffic on a regular basis. The calculus changed. Many of the newest developments now show noticeably slower sales activity. Builders expanded incentives significantly. Rate buydowns, free landscaping packages, closing cost assistance of tens of thousands of dollars, solar incentives, upgrade credits, and direct price reductions. Despite all of that, some completed homes have remained empty for months while builders continue managing inventory. Number 3, Tracy. Tracy in San Joaquin County has a population of approximately 97,000, positioned along Interstate 205 and Interstate 580 about 60 miles east of the Bay Area. Tracy may be the most historically consistent example of a California city that built itself substantially around the assumption of Silicon Valley commuters continuing indefinitely, and is now managing the consequences of that assumption being tested. For decades Tracy positioned itself as the affordable alternative to Bay Area housing. Families who couldn't access Santa Clara County or Alameda County moved east seeking newer construction, more space, and better value. Builders developed massive subdivisions across the city over multiple cycles. Then the pandemic turned Tracy into one of Northern California's most active housing markets almost overnight. Buyers realized they could live 60 miles from Silicon Valley while collecting Bay Area salaries from their spare bedrooms. Prices surged. Investors entered aggressively. Builders accelerated construction. The activity level during 2020 through early 2022 was unlike anything the local market had previously seen. The demand wave didn't sustain. As major Bay Area employers increased return-to-office requirements, the weaknesses in Tracy's commuter model became apparent quickly. The commute through the Altamont Pass corridor became challenging again. What once seemed manageable for occasional trips became genuinely difficult for workers facing multiple office days per week with regularity. Builders across Tracy sit on completed homes throughout several newer developments. Incentive packages continue expanding. Closing credits of $15,000 or more, free upgrades, appliance incentives, solar packages, rate buydowns, and meaningful price cuts on finished homes. Property taxes on newer Tracy homes approach $8,000 annually depending on assessed value. Insurance premiums increased throughout. Number 2, Beaumont. Beaumont in Riverside County has a population of around 58,000, sitting near Banning Pass approximately 25 miles east of Riverside. Beaumont represents one of the clearest intersections in California right now between housing market slowdown and insurance market challenges, two forces that are reinforcing each other in ways that make the calculation for new construction buyers genuinely complex. Over the last 15 years, Beaumont expanded rapidly with large master-planned communities designed around Inland Empire commuter growth. Builders filled major sections with newer homes, parks, schools, golf course communities, and suburban developments aimed at families leaving more expensive parts of Southern California. During the pandemic, demand accelerated sharply. Remote workers arrived. Investors entered the market. Prices moved up significantly. The activity level reflected a community that appeared to be on a sustained growth trajectory. Then carrying costs started climbing from multiple directions simultaneously. Wildfire risk throughout the surrounding hillside regions caused insurance premiums to rise substantially across portions of Beaumont. Some homeowners faced non-renewals or were pushed toward California Fair Plan coverage at substantially higher monthly costs than standard market policies. Newer developments include HOA fees and Mello-Roos assessments that add thousands annually to the base ownership expense. Builders dealing with slower buyer demand across several newer communities have expanded incentives aggressively, interest rate buydowns, closing cost assistance, free upgrades, appliance packages, and large price cuts on completed inventory. Throughout portions of Beaumont, finished homes continue sitting while builders work to move product in a market where the monthly cost calculation has become more complicated than the listing price suggests. Number 2, Beaumont. Beaumont in Riverside County has a population of around 58,000, sitting near Banning Pass approximately 25 miles east of Riverside. Beaumont represents one of the clearest intersections in California right now between housing market slowdown and insurance market challenges, two forces that are reinforcing each other in ways that make the calculation for new construction buyers genuinely complex. Over the last 15 years, Beaumont expanded rapidly with large master-planned communities designed around Inland Empire commuter growth. Builders filled major sections with newer homes, parks, schools, golf course communities, and suburban developments aimed at families leaving more expensive parts of Southern California. During the pandemic, demand accelerated sharply. Remote workers arrived. Investors entered the market. Prices moved up significantly. The activity level reflected a community that appeared to be on a sustained growth trajectory. Then carrying costs started climbing from multiple directions simultaneously. Wildfire risk throughout the surrounding hillside regions caused insurance premiums to rise substantially across portions of Beaumont. Some homeowners faced non-renewals or were pushed toward California Fair Plan coverage at substantially higher monthly costs than standard market policies. Newer developments include HOA fees and Mello-Roos assessments that add thousands annually to the base ownership expense. Builders dealing with slower buyer demand across several newer communities have expanded incentives aggressively: interest rate buydowns, closing cost assistance, free upgrades, appliance packages, and large price cuts on completed inventory. Throughout portions of Beaumont, finished homes continue sitting while builders work to move product in a market where the monthly cost calculation has become more complicated than the listing price suggests. The common patterns. Stepping back from the individual markets, several consistent threads run through all 10 of these situations. The first is the remote work assumption. Virtually every one of these markets experienced a pandemic-era demand surge driven substantially by buyers who believed remote work flexibility would be permanent or at minimum long-term. When return-to-office requirements increased across major employers, the buyer pool that had validated aggressive construction timelines contracted. The buildings were already underway or complete by the time the demand assumptions were being tested. The second is total ownership cost versus purchase price. In every one of these markets, the listing price significantly understates the true monthly cost of ownership. Insurance increases. Driven partly by wildfire risk across much of inland Southern and Northern California, have been substantial and in some communities severe. Property taxes on newer construction are not trivial. Mello-Roos assessments and HOA fees add hundreds to thousands of dollars monthly beyond the base mortgage payment. Buyers who run only the mortgage calculation based on the listing price frequently discover the actual monthly obligation is meaningfully higher than they anticipated. The third is commute economics. Every market on this list is positioned as an affordable alternative to coastal California job centers. That positioning only works when commute conditions are manageable. Remote work flexibility temporarily changed what manageable meant for millions of buyers. Return-to-office requirements have changed it back. The communities themselves have not moved. The freeways have not improved. The drive is what it always was. The fourth is builder incentives as a market signal. When builders are offering $40,000 to $60,000 price reductions on completed homes alongside rate buydowns, free solar, and tens of thousands in closing credits simultaneously, they are communicating something specific about the relationship between current inventory levels and current buyer demand. Those incentives represent genuine value for buyers who have done the full cost analysis and whose lives genuinely work in those locations. They are not, however, a substitute for that analysis. For buyers considering new construction in these markets, the builder incentives are real and in some cases substantial. A rate buydown into the low fives meaningfully reduces monthly payments over the loan term. A price reduction of $40,000 to $60,000 on a completed home represents genuine savings compared to peak pricing. The communities themselves have real amenities, new schools, parks, modern infrastructure, and community design that older neighborhoods cannot replicate. The question is whether the total monthly cost, the realistic commute, and the long-term resale environment in a market with significant builder competition all make sense for your specific situation. The listing price is one number. Everything else is a different and equally important set of calculations. For current homeowners in these markets, the builder incentives being offered on nearby new construction create direct competitive pressure on resale values. Understanding that dynamic and pricing realistically relative to what builders are offering for brand new homes with full warranties helps manage expectations and inform decisions about timing and pricing if selling is something you are considering. The broader story these 10 communities tell is about what happens when construction cycles are built around assumptions that prove harder to sustain than they appeared at the time. The pandemic created a genuine and rapid shift in where people wanted to live and what they were willing to pay to get there. Builders responded to market signals that were real. The challenge is that those signals reflected a set of conditions. Widespread remote work flexibility, compressed commute sensitivity, and buyers willing to travel far for affordability, that proved more temporary than the construction timelines they inspired. The communities remain. The amenities are real. The homes are built and finished and sitting on streets waiting for buyers. The adjustment happening now is the market working through the distance between the inventory that was built and the demand that is actually there. That is the breakdown of 10 California cities experiencing new construction inventory challenges and the forces driving those conditions. If this analysis was useful, share your observations in the comments, particularly if you have direct experience with new construction in any of these markets. Subscribe if you want more content breaking down California housing markets with careful analysis and without the sensationalism. I will see you in the next one.